My wife cheated on me with my golden child brother and got pregnant. I kicked her out and now my family, who always hated me, demands I pay for the child because I got a promotion. I 29 meters got divorced from my wife 27F 2 months ago. She'd been cheating on me with my estranged brother 27 meters for a while, and 4 months ago I finally found out when she told me that she was pregnant. Initially, she tried to convince me that the baby was ours, but my brother's frequent visits made me question everything, so I decided to check her phone. I confronted her about whatever I found, and she ended up confessing that she'd been cheating on me with my brother since she pretty much had no other option anymore. My family and I hadn't been on talking terms ever since I left home when I turned 18. They'd always treated me like an outsider, even in my own family, and my brother was the golden child. I thought that it was a little weird to start the party meant for me without me, but then I saw the cake and completely lost it. I finally confronted my parents and asked them why they hadn't thrown me a party for an actual real achievement instead, and they told me that after my acceptance letter, they didn't want my brother to feel left out, so they threw him a party instead. Instead of throwing a tantrum, I should be trying to uplift my brother as well. That just completely broke me, and that very day I made up my mind to never come back to them ever again, and I stuck to it. I paid my way through college by taking out a loan and working, and then rented a tiny apartment with a friend. After I was done with college, I never spoke to my parents after I moved out for college, and neither did they try to get through to me either. Of course, ages have passed since then, and last year my brother reached out to me online to ask if I wanted to reconnect with him and my parents since they really seemed to miss me a lot. Had happened since I'd left home like 2 years ago. I'd gotten married. To my ex-wife I was leading a very comfortable life, but I don't think I'd ever moved on from whatever had happened with my parents. So, I did end up agreeing to meet them. It was awkward and felt uncomfortable initially, but they were making an effort to fix whatever they'd done to me in the past. So, I felt obliged to make an effort for them as well. I invited them to my home as well, and I guessed it was my first mistake. Introducing my brother to my ex, they met, they started an affair, and she got pregnant. I was really happy when I found out that she was pregnant, since I'd obviously thought that the baby was mine. But then, like I'd mentioned earlier, my brother started visiting more often after I found out about the pregnancy. And while initially, it didn't bother me, it started getting weird when he would touch my wife's pregnant stomach and speak into it. My ex told me that it wasn't that big of a deal, but I just couldn't shake off a sneaking suspicion that my brother had more to do with the baby than he was letting on. 6 months into the pregnancy, I decided to go through her phone while she was asleep, and it confirmed everything that I was terrified of. The texts between my ex and my brother proved that it was actually his baby, and they'd been together for a while now. Not only that, my ex had no intention of ever letting me know that the baby wasn't even mine. She and my brother planned on telling me about the affair after the baby was born, and then she'd get a divorce from me and finally get with my brother, while they'd live off the fortune with the child support that I'd be paying. The next morning, I asked her about the texts, and while she did try to deny it at first, she eventually gave up and confessed. That was the end of my marriage of 2 years. And, well, of course, my parents sided with my brother and my ex. All their words about the two of us being equally important to them were just words after all. When my ex and my brother announced our divorce on social media and her decision to marry him, my entire family was fully supportive of their decision. Nobody cared that they'd ruined my mental health and broken my trust. Not just that, my ex had been lying to me for 6 months and telling me that the baby was mine. It felt as though I'd not just lost my wife but also my kid, and it just hurt so much. My parents told me that this was for the best and once again refused to even act like my brother had wronged me. They, in fact, told me that I should be happy that my ex and brother had finally found happiness and should join the celebrations. Once again, I cut them out of my life, and that messed up my divorce as well. My ex-wife walked away with a huge settlement sum in my car, all because my family was on my wife's side in the divorce, because she was with my brother now.